Hey Zen fam, so it's time to talk Turkey. Let's do this roundup of E3 2019. So there seem to be two aspects most prevalent across all the conferences that we've seen this year. In a year that has been deemed by most people to be uninspiring, the aspects we've seen the most are a distinct lack of gameplay footage. Only a few things here and there have actually had it. Most of the time it's been like watching movie trailers, which is nice, but we're gamers. We need to see what we're going to be playing. It's a given. Also, we seem to have been seeing at least one mobile title from every developer. It's like, no, not at E3 you don't. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have no personal problem with mobile gaming and mobile gamers, but it just doesn't seem right for E3. E3 is generally supposed to be about the larger experiences. I mean, that's why there's very little room for indie games. And that's why now we have the Kind of Funny Game Showcase that to shine a light on these smaller developers during E3, which is great. Now, if somebody wants to come along and make a mobile mobile showcase over the time of E3 for those mobile titles that do seem to be doing something bigger and have more money behind them because they come from these larger studios, then yes, please, show us. But alas, no, that doesn't seem to be the case. It seems to be these mobile phone games crowbarred in and being largely unwelcome by the mass gaming populace who are set there to watch it because you've got hardcore gaming fans and they want hardcore gaming products. It's just a fact. So, let's crack open at the start, shall we? Microsoft. Microsoft had a near 2-hour show and they did cram a lot in. Unfortunately, there has been a perception that it's been quantity over quality. And as I was speaking of before, a distinct lack of actual gameplay. We've seen some lovely videos, but actual gameplay lacking. Admittedly, I did like some of the things they put on, even though I don't have an Xbox, but one day I may do, It's like, there wasn't a lot, I think, that would personally drag me in. I mean, Cyberpunk 2077, yes, it was cool. Yes, Keanu Reeves is awesome. But that's a multi-platform game. I'll be getting that for my PlayStation. It's like maybe it'll get re-released on PlayStation 5. I may very well just do that. I may have to hold back on that game for one of the future games I'm going to mention later in the video. But it was they've definitely improved their way of doing things. I mean, it was still very much a Microsoft conference. I mean, the lighting, the cadence, the way things are produced, you still had your console exclusive. It was still very Microsofty. There's the banks of playable machines behind Phil Spencer, and each of the developers coming out and saying their bit, and it was very slick. It was very well produced. The timing was nice. It all worked as well as it possibly could do. The only thing I would say is it was at times just a bit dry. And this was the year for Microsoft to blow it up, to go, ho ho, check us out. Because they effectively had the spotlight on them. There was no Sony, so they could have just been dropping bombs, And yeah, okay, they gave some scant details of what's going to happen with Xbox Scarlet, but they did nothing really to differentiate it from the ideas that we've heard Sony talk about. I mean, Sony have said we want to do this, we want to do this, we want to do this, and the same things they talked about are the same things Microsoft spoke about. You know, an SSD, faster loading times, like a bunch more powerful than the previous model. This is all stuff Sony has said, you know, and they appear to be achieving it in similar ways, which leads me to believe the two systems are probably not going to have that much between them, much like now. I mean, when the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 were first released, okay, yes, PlayStation was officially a bit more powerful, but when you looked at their capabilities and what they were doing, aside from, you know, games that are within the studios of those two console holders, they roughly did the same job. So, who is next after that? Let's see, it was... Who was next? EA. Or was EA before? Anyway, so EA. My God, that was dull. I mean, I didn't think EA knew how to make a duller conference than they've done the last couple of years. I mean, last year was just horrific. I mean, but this year, I mean, literally, if it hadn't been for the Star Wars game, it would have been unwatchable. It was plodding, and it was clunky, and it just didn't work. And, you know, taking it away from the main EA taking it away from the main site and that, it's just like, it just seems like they're removed from the site and removed from gamers. It's just, yeah, it's not good. It really isn't good. And it's a shame, because when EA, they used to do some great stuff, and occasionally they still knock out the odd wee gem here and there. And you notice the distinct lack of Anthem. You know, this would have been the time to bring out Anthem again and go, look, we've heard you, we know you're not happy, this is what we're going to do to fix it. And if they'd had some fixes and had a stage to say the fixes from, you know, they could maybe save their dying game. But they didn't. Because EA's going to EA. And it's a damn shame. Then, see, what else? Ubisoft. Now, Ubisoft, that's the one I was looking forward to. You know, because normally I look forward to the Sony one, because I am a PlayStation fan. I make no bones about it, I am a PlayStation fan. But I also really like a lot of the output from Ubisoft. I mean, I've got a lot of Ubisoft games, I've played a lot of Ubisoft games. You only have to look at my trophies to see that. You know, I have appreciated a lot of their output over the years. And they kicked it right off into high gear. They started with Watch Dogs Legion. And that's a game I pretty much fancy getting from the off. I might go launch day on that puppy. I don't know if I'll do pre-orders, because pre-ordering, it does have its own problems, but then if the pre-order gives me interesting DLC that makes my gaming experience better, then I will go ahead and do that. But I love the ideas they're talking about. You know, this whole thing of like, there is no main character, all the NPCs are basically PCs. It's like, wow. I love the look of London. I love the look of the tech. I like the quirkiness of the writing. I love how they've managed to take procedurally generated content and bend it into character models, and not just how they look and how they move and how they act, but what they say. You know, they've actually taken sort of London way of speaking and the various dialects and accents in that city and made that part of our procedural engine. That's some serious coding there. I'm like, wow. I am deeply impressed with what Ubisoft have done and what they're intending to do. and I very much look forward to playing that game. Yeah. But then they did the mobile title, and they started really. It kind of got a bit drony. You know, they're like this Tom Clancy project, the other Tom Clancy project, and another Tom Clancy project. It's like, come on. It's like, now the skating thing, the sort of rollerball, battling later, future sport kind of dealy, that looked fun. But then they kind of really gave me a buzzkill by going, alright, we're doing a beta on PC, and I'm like, I want to go. I got a PC. I've got PlayStation. Oh God. It's like, and they did that twice. And like, here we go. Here's this thing. And then they like, as they were just starting to get their rhythm back up again, then they bring out some bloke from some telly show and say, we're making this series, and at first I was like, yeah, okay, TV, really, at a games conference? But then as he was like giving the outline to the plot and stuff, and he showed the trailer, I thought, okay, this could be worth a giggle. And then he goes and tells me that I can only watch it on Apple TV. Oh, Apple TV? Do you think I'm made of money? It's like, I've got Netflix and I've got cable. It's like, and that's enough, thank you very much. Not all that, I also don't trust a lot of what Apple does. Like, their tablets are okay. And their computers are fairly decent, but their phones, dear God, no. I like a battery that lasts more than 5 minutes, Ken. So the idea of Apple TV is like, great, so you're cutting out a gigantic part of the audience that could possibly want to see this, because you got it on one tiny little streaming network that doesn't have the adoption of most other networks. I mean, Netflix is way, way bigger. So, that, then they did a bit more of this, a bit more of that. Then they talked about their streaming service that they want to do, as like just streaming their games. And though they have like, this tech that apparently makes it go faster and stuff and takes less bandwidth, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And then they said that it was going to cost people, I think this is American prices, was it like $15 a month? And I'm like, hang on. Now, I know in the States it's like $60 a game. So basically, that's the price of what? 2.5 games a year? And so, okay, that maybe not so bad. But then they said it's going to be through Stadia. Stadia want you to give them $10 a month. So then that creeps up to $25 a month. And it's sort of like, and then you remember it's a streaming service, so not only do you not get to own the games, you only lease the games, and games can be taken off the service, and if your internet goes down, your gaming goes down. All this for $25 a month and probably 25 quid. I imagine the UK price will probably follow fairly closely. It's just like, it just doesn't seem worth it. It doesn't seem viable. I think I'll stick with discs for as long as I can at this rate. You're not making a good case here, guys. All this streaming tech, it's just, it's not enticing me. Not in the slightest. And then we had, let's see, who came up next? The Square Enix. Now, I was really only watching Square Enix because I wanted to see the Avengers game. Because I'm not really one for JRPGs, and I've never really been big on Final Fantasy. Although, admittedly, I did have a certain curiosity to see how Final Fantasy VII Remake was going to turn out. Because Final Fantasy is a very particular product, and 7 is such a iconic game with a serious history to it. I was definitely curious to see what they would do. And it does look clever, and it does look, really interesting. But like I say, I was only really watching for the Avengers game. And it looks okay. There are problems I have with it. I mean, one, the designs look a bit, I mean, the Captain American armor, it looks, I don't know, too much like tactical gear. And I know that's just aesthetics of the game. There's like the voices are jarring. I think it's because, all these years of the MCU movies, we've now all built up these images of what these heroes look like and sound like and how they act together. And although we are used to, if you read comics and stuff, having different versions across different multiverses and all the rest of it, and there have been many interpretations of these heroes over the decades. But something I think it's maybe just because like Endgame is still very fresh in my mind. I look at these guys and I go, fakes! But then, it might prove to be really good, but I think it needs more explanation. We need more idea of what we're doing and how we're doing it. But I do like the fact they said that like they will be continually adding stuff and they're not going to charge you for it. I'm like, back of the net. Let's see, then what? Well, I suppose this morning then it was, well, not this morning, this afternoon. It was the Nintendo conference. Yet again, another competent showing from Nintendo. I mean, we had like a sequel to Breath of the Wild, and we had a lot of, new Luigi's Mansion kind of game, and there was some interesting stuff being done with Smash Brothers because they love their Smash Brothers. So yeah, I mean, nothing earth-shattering, but a competent, well-held, thing, and they did a decent amount of trying to be funny with handling the whole Doug Bowser type thing. It was like they brought Bowser on, and it was slightly amusing. I'm sure if I was a Nintendo hardcore fanboy, I would have been spooging my pants, but yeah, it was alright. So all in all, this year's E3, it didn't feel big, it didn't feel special. And I really wanted it to feel special. It's a shame, it really is, because it puts another nail in the coffin idea, or the idea coffin, that E3 is becoming irrelevant. When you got, IGN and GameSpot and going along there and broadcasting it live in your face on your telly, for your PlayStation or whatever. It's like, is it going to last that much longer? I mean, yes, it has reformatted itself into more of a fan event situation, coupled with its press conference element. And I have taken time off work to watch all this stuff. Admittedly, I couldn't do that for the first 2-3 days, just because, well, a bit short on staff at the minute. And I've got the next couple of days off, and I'm going to be watching all the sort of dev interviews and that, and I will soak those up and enjoy them greatly, because I love the nitty gritty. But yeah, next year, E3, you need to try harder. It's like Xbox, bit shorter, more gameplay. Sony, please come back and please give us really big details on PlayStation 5 if indeed you're not doing PSX this year. I really hope you're doing PSX, because we need a high-end gaming event to cleanse the palate, because this year's E3, although it was good, it isn't good enough. There's been better years. And this is when it's all meant to be taking off. I mean, we're getting ready for the next gen, and it's all looking incredible, and the technology's really pushing. And it was just a shame that it just didn't. Ubisoft, you know what you needed to do and you didn't do it. You didn't show us a Prince of Persia. You didn't give us Beyond Good and Evil. You didn't give us a new Splinter Cell. These are things that the fan base were looking for. And admittedly, you did do your things. I mean, you did your crazy Ubisoft dancers. And do remember, I do have a t-shirt for that in my Redbubble store. So yeah, they were all there. They all did their thing. They could have done more. Bethesda, I forgot Bethesda. Oh god, that shows you how much Bethesda fallen out of order. I've completely forgot them. Right, so Bethesda, yeah. Bethesda basically spent the first few minutes going, please stop hating us, we're sorry. Here's the things that should have been in the game. And it's like, oh god. It's like, and they're putting out all these things, single play, you know, like quest line given by NPCs, and you know, and all this other stuff, and a battle royale mode. I was like, yeah, late to the party, guys. It's like they're checking out all these things. They go, please, we're not awful. Please don't hate our game anymore. And I'm watching this going, oh Christ. This is desperation incarnate. And then they did a mobile game as well. It's like, now don't get me wrong, Wolfenstein looked like a lot of fun. And they're still trying to like get some mileage out of Rage 2. And the biggest thing I've heard about Rage 2 is like there's a whole lot of nothing. You know, brightly coloured nothing, but nothing. And yeah, it's sort of like they could have given us a wee update on Starfield or something, but you know, it's not like they tried to say the Blades is going to be good. Please. It's just, there's a lot of what Bethesda did that was just not convincing. Nice stage, nice presentation. And I like the way they were really focusing in on community stuff. Like Ubisoft did their focusing in on community stuff. I mean, like they did that thing for the Ghost Recon sort of community thing. I like that. If you do a Division one of that, same bloke is signing up. You know me, I love my Division. Yeah, so there we go. Bethesda, Microsoft, EA, Square Enix, Nintendo. Don't think I really need to talk about the kind of funny one, because it was what it was. It was pretty much the same as last year. Bang, 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 bang. Game. Yeah. So all in all, yeah. Next year, guys, you all need to come back bigger, badder, stronger, more focused, more gameplay. Okay, that's the important thing. Gameplay. Not just fantasy videos, actual gameplay. Let us see the games in action so we know what we're going to be playing. And that, I think, is that, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry this video got a bit long, but then, you know, I did have to cover, 3 days of content? And boil it down to under half an hour? Not easy. I was hoping I'd do it in 15 minutes. I think I might have been more than I could chew with that idea. Okay guys, so you know the drill. Rate, favourite, comment, share and subscribe. And of course, as always, nae bother.